remain at the table. Stephanie Travato is going to
Community
join me.
events is up.
Stephanie is our
Here, Stephanie.
volunteer. She runs the Community Events Committee. A couple of you folks already know her because you've worked with her.
All right, community events, page 43.
So just in general, I'll speak a little bit about the budget, and if there were specific questions about some of the actual events, I'd probably defer to Stephanie. The budget remains essentially as it was approved last year. Two very small increases, the band concert and the haunted hayride lines went up by $50 in anticipation of increase in, I believe, sound system folks that they use. Of note, I think, and I should say it rather than let you fish around for it, the line item that carries the town's fireworks is budgeted at $27,760. Last year it was budgeted the same way, but at the last minute, the town was given a generous donation by IKEA. We are leaving that $10,000 in the budget. It was not spent. That donation went into a donation account, and it paid for 10 out of the $15,000 it cost to run the fireworks. This year we're budgeting the 27 again because we do not anticipate a donation.
Okay, I got, anybody else? I'll start this time, question. Just question on police details. We don't seem to use that much of the 30,000. Is there any reason, or it just happens that way? Can we knock it down a little bit, or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and, you know, I'll speak to it a bit. The manager might want to as well. But first of all, that was not my budget request ever. That came, I believe, from one committee or another who decided to increase it to $30,000.
They were
Put
trying
it
to
in
keep
this
the
budget.
cost of events in like one space.
So what happens with this is the police department, they actually submit the bills and pay the police officers, and I just simply get a copy of the amounts so that we're aware of it. The $30,000 was vastly underspent last year. You're absolutely correct about that, but we also believe that not all the community events beyond, and it's the terminology that is a little tricky here, community events that this volunteer group runs, those were charged, but there are other community events that should have been charged, details should have been charged to this, and I think some people were unaware of that.
Yeah.
So if a local church does a festival and there's details,
Okay.
that sort of thing. So I will tell you that we're spending at a much higher rate than last year. Will they use all 30,000? I don't think so,
This
but
one.
I think it's going to be a lot closer to 25
Mhm.
when it's all said and
Been
done.
done. Okay.
If I could add, I think in between Chief Shastney leaving
Right.
and the interim chief, the police department didn't bill for many of the events they're supposed to bill for. Because this is, when the board set this up, this is all community events, including church processions, including the baseball parade, you name it, it's supposed to include them all.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Questions? Anybody else got questions?
Yeah, good
Go.
one. Davidson, you're pretty sure that we won't receive the 10,000 from IKEA this year, or?
We've been told by the selectmen that used to do that negotiation that last year was the end of it. IKEA had made it pretty clear. Not that they weren't interested in donating to the town of Stoughton, but they weren't, you know, they were looking at other kinds of programs that they might be willing to donate to, especially more of an educational nature rather than this type of thing. So
That's fine.
I think, you know, and I don't want to paint them as bad guys because I think they still contribute.
Basically what I was looking
Right.
for. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roberta?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the people that are presenting or someone else, I didn't know that we were paying the police details for church events and for other events. I thought the churches were paying for the details themselves, or the parade for the baseball, or whatever it happens to be. I don't see why we're subsidizing private institutions with police details.
No,
Are we doing that?
I don't know.
Well, that's what I'd like to know that.
I will find out. I think it's more of a professional courtesy.
Again, that is the official policy of the Board of Selectmen. You know, if a church requires a liquor license for an event, and the police department requires a detail for the liquor license part of the event, then no. But if it's a parade or a procession, the Board of Selectmen made a policy decision that the police department would have to eat the details. At the request of Chief Shastany, they created this line item in this budget for that purpose.
Okay. So it's a Board of Selectmen decision.
So it's a policy of the Board of Selectmen. What about sports parades? Same thing? All parades. We subsidize private institutions for their parades.
At the current time?
Apparently, that the
What it is.
taxpayers do that.
I don't know, that's what it is at the current time. And some of
Thank
this
you.
stuff doesn't make sense, because a lot of details are 4 hour, the minimums. It only takes an hour or less for a parade or walk down a street or whatever, so depends how you look at it, but whatever. That's the policy at this time.
So how long has this been the policy? Because in fiscal 16, it was $10,577. So fiscal 16, I think that when Chief Chastity was here, he made sure everyone was billed for everything and everything was done
Yeah,
properly.
but this money was moved from a different department, either last year or the year before, to put it over here. It was in the police budget, I think, and it came over here last year or the year before. Different money.
The line item in the police budget, $30,000 for community events. It was moved to this budget by a Board of Selectmen, but the policy has been in place at least 3 years.
For what it's worth, I do have a current year-to-date printout, and we've spent about 13,000 of the 30 as of January 20th. We have some big events in the spring that will be billed to this account July 4th, not July 4th, that'll be next fiscal year. Stoughton Day, which is in the last Saturday of June, and then Stoyak's softball parade, and Stoughton Youth Baseball's Little League Parade.
April.
And then there may be some other functions that I'm not aware of. Easter egg hunt, which is one of their events. I can give you an update, in March. And,
Maybe
well, we
not.
might say, take $5,000,
All right, just something to look at, that's all.
Yep.
Ms. Walsh?
These are public hearings, correct?
Yes.
Cynthia Walsh, 1096 Park Street. There are 10 parades/processions a year in Stoughton. It's less than one a month. Some are basically for young people, some are for adults of a certain ethnic background, and then other things. I think it's vital for public safety purposes that these be made safe, not just for the people that are parading or processing, but the innocent people that are trying to get through Stoughton Center when some of this is going on. I think these events are a plus for the town. I think they help make us united. Some people talk about divisions and everything, but Stoughton really isn't divided. Even if you're not a member of a particular ethnic group, you can still enjoy the spectacle. And I think it's part of our community, it's part of our country. And each region has different festivals, fiestas, whatever. I happen to be Irish, Indian, and English, so there's nothing for me here. But other towns have St. Patrick's Day parades. Now, some people could dance up and down about that being religious, and we're catering to a particular ethnic group. But what we're saying with each of these parades or processions is, this is Stoughton, come and enjoy a good time, and if it costs a few bucks to make sure that everyone is safe, including the spectators, it's worth it.
Okay. Anybody else? Guess we're good. Thank you.
Thank you. And I should say that the community events group, they're terrific people, and they work really hard.